This is Mike with New Bedford Guide. We're here covering the candidates for October 3rd election. We're here with Carlos Pimentel Felix for Ward 2. So, Carlos, why should people vote you into city office?
Why they should vote for me? Well, I think I can get the job done because I've been actively on the streets in New Bedford, especially as of late in Ward 2. Excuse me, I should have shut my phone off. But basically, I've been very active in the Ward 2 area as of late. I've lived here for approximately 6 years. I've lived in New Bedford my entire life. And I think I have a good grasp and knowledge of what's going on within the city. And I'm just dying to work with the police and the city council in getting things done because of the unique advantage I have of being behind the scenes all over the city in different aspects, especially with the high crime that's been going on. I think I can have a good impact in helping the police and helping the city move forward. And by watching my opponents earlier, they're on the same page because they've basically repeated everything I've been talking about for the past 2 years. I decided to run for Ward 2 a year ago. My opponents decided to run when Mr. Martins dropped out, which is unfortunate.
Okay, so Ward 2, what's the number one priority that you're hearing people on the streets?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you talk to. You know, there's different areas. I mean, you have the area that's closer to Ward 1, and then you have the area on the other side, where would be the tougher area, North Front, Bullard. And there's two different worlds there, night and day. Ward 1, you're talking about, I mean, near the Ward 1 area. In Ward 2 would be the high taxes. And the others, on the flip side, it would be the high crime and getting the police into the neighborhoods. And I'm not here to talk bad about the police. Like I said, I want to work with them. But there are concerns whether or not there are enough police on the force to be able to get out and walk into the streets and get to know people as it is now. And like I said, on the other flip side, the high taxes, the return on their dollars low. You know, we don't have enough fire. They have the blackouts. We don't have enough police on the job, and of course, not enough city workers. As you can see, the condition of the parks and other social issues that we're having in the city, we don't have enough people to cover most of these situations.
Okay, so Kaya asks, heading south on Belleville at Sawyer, traffic builds all down the park due to people trying to turn towards Market Basket and others not being able to go around them. Can't we take space to basically make 2 lanes there? Is that possible?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to have some sort of traffic study. You know, that's a good question. I mean, that's something that as a city council as a whole, we'd have to discuss that. And I mean, it's always something we can look at, of course. I mean, that makes sense.
All right, so Ward 2 is obviously what you're running for, but what about this total city of New Bedford? What are the number one concern you think for the entire city?
My number one concern, as I said, I've been active in the city for years now, and I've gone to neighborhood meetings. I've been involved politically. I've gone to different forums, and a lot of the times it's the same concerns being voiced by the same people over and over, and all they get is lip service, okay? I want to change that. I don't want to just give out false promises and that's that. I really want to tackle some of these issues. And when you go to a meeting and you talk to you know, people that own businesses, family members, and they're pleading for help, and you only come around every 2 years when it's election, I don't think that's the way to really solve problems. You have to tackle this every day as much as you can and be aggressive.
Okay, Brittany Battelle says, you're alive at many crime scenes and emergencies in the city. What do you believe is the benefit for your live streams?
Well, basically, the politicians can't hide behind crime is down, They can no longer look you in the eye, wave and smile, and tell you that crime is down. The reality is we have an issue here in New Bedford, and I think that's the number one benefit is people now are aware of exactly what's going on in the city. No sugarcoating, no hiding behind political reasons or whatever. It's the in your face, the truth, the reality. Sometimes that reality hurts, and it's not an easy pill to swallow. But before we get any solutions, you have to look at the problems. I truly believe that.
Okay, Bob Conway, more police, fire, and city workers mean higher taxes. So does that mean higher taxes if you're going to put more police and stuff?
We already have high taxes. I mean, don't we already have high taxes? I truly believe that it's mismanagement. If we get down to it, I truly believe New Bedford can have a full police force, can have a full fire department, can have enough city workers if the money is managed more properly, money dedicated to these things, cut out the fat. The city councillors, that's basically their job. That's basically why there's a position in the city of New Bedford as councillor. It's to cut from the budget. That's their number one priority.
John Gregorio asks, are you for or against a sanctuary city? So New Bedford being a sanctuary city.
The question should be, is New Bedford a sanctuary city? Yes, and I am not for a sanctuary city, no.
Okay, Doreen says, you've had issues with the mayor, you've had issues with some of the city council members. If you're elected, how are you going to work with them?
I work with them already. There are things that I've already gotten accomplished. As a matter of fact, I worked with Ian Abreu to ban Spice. He approached me after the election, and he liked one of the that I was fighting to ban Spice at the time, and he took that on himself, and he got it done. So I already tried to work with the councilors. Of course, there are some times that certain situations, you can't always resolve every situation, but I try very hard to work with everyone that has any type of solution, and of course, at all times.
Okay, seems that storefronts on the Ave, Cushing Avenue, are being consumed with churches and barbershops. Should there be business type limits within so many feet?
Yeah, I mean...
Or how do you get more like diverse businesses on the Ave?
Yeah, I think, we're always hearing about grants coming into the city for whatever reasons, for different things. And I would like to see grant money being spent on the facades of the buildings. And yes, I don't think the entire Ave should consist of only churches, cell phones, and yeah, we have to have them more diverse. But how do you do that? You have to make the streets safer, cleaner, and more attractive to people that want to spend their hard-earned money on the business.
So Samuel says, keep our money local, more fair for community outreach and the youngsters. So how do we keep our money local?
How do we keep our money by our money? What does he mean?
So how do we keep our money local instead of going out of the community? We talked about maybe you go to No Problemo instead of Taco Bell. Or yeah.
Well, I think advertising, businesses coming together, the city coming together, and having advertising campaigns, working with companies such as New Bedford Guide and other advertising agencies, and make New Bedford appealing, and advertise what we have. Obviously, fishing industry, a diverse culture, all these different types of foods. It's amazing. When you go down the avenue from Dominican, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Portuguese, it's amazing the types of foods are there.
So Mandy asked, do you support cameras on the police? And if so, how do you fund them?
The funding part, that's a tough question. That's obviously something that we would have to work with the state and federal, I would believe. But I'm for anything that would help the police get their job done. I think it's a good idea.
So Hidney Young says, you're known for filming, recording live videos. What else have you done that would make you best candidate?
Well, basically, I have worked with the police in a way where I have brought attention to certain issues in the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, we worked hard to get 7-Eleven to correct some of the infractions they have over there. They were allowing all kind of people hanging around, and it was bringing all kind of social ills into the neighborhood. And now the store is closed at midnight till 5 a.m. And I really think that was a big victory. It's a lot quieter. The police now, if there's people hanging around, they can be cleared because the store is closed at those hours. So initiatives like that, paying attention, going after the issues, not sugarcoating it, not sweeping it under the rug, that's my number one thing. I think that's where I stand out the most. I've been at it for years, and I think I've proven that I fight hard for what the citizens want in New Bedford, especially Ward 2.
So Justin says, would you put more things in the city for kids to do? We all know that a lot of times there's not a lot for the kids to do.
I mean, of course, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, any opportunity you can do something for the children, of course you do that. I mean, yeah.
So Jonathan asks, there are too many Section 8 in the city. How do you stop them from flooding the area? Do you think there is too much Section 8?
Too much Section 8, I don't know. I mean, that's a question that I wouldn't know it right off the top. I really wouldn't know. I really don't think that there's a difference between someone with Section 8 or without. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough question.
So Mayor Mitchell, what's the relationship with the city council if you're elected in Mayor Mitchell? How would you work with him?
Well, I think they've been at a stalemate a lot lately between Mitchell and the city council. You know, and I've had my disagreements with the mayor, but there's also a lot of things that I think he's done that's good, like the problem property ordinance. He tried to pass a good ordinance, but the city council, you know, especially a few members, they dismantled that, and now it's really not a ordinance that really accomplishes much. So I like the fact that the mayor took this is a big thing for me. He took all the fences down throughout the city. I don't know if you've noticed that. But that really gave it an open look, and it looks great down at Buttonwood Park, down in the south end, all the areas in New Bedford. I've noticed that they're taking down all those chain link fences, which looked horrible.
So you win the election, January 20th, you're sworn in. What's the first thing you're going to work on?
The first thing I'm going to work on would be the relationship between the mayor and the city council, and my relationship with the city councilors, because I have to work with these people. So sit down with them, have a conversation, and get on the same page and see where everyone's at on all the issues. And hopefully we can find common ground and work together moving forward.
So final question, what's the best thing about New Bedford?
The best thing about New Bedford would be location. New Bedford's located in a beautiful area. We have lots of highway access, waterway access, and just beautiful people. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so we'll wrap up with Ward 2 candidate Carlos Pimentel Felix. Up next at 8 o'clock is Nelson Machido. Thanks, Carlos.